How to Be Happy, Dammit, a cynic's guide to a spiritual happiness. The idea for this book is to create a first and the only self-help book that merges psychology, biology, Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, quantum physics, and the Zen of Bazooka Joe that is guaranteed to perk you up even in the most cynic spirit. Warning, you think you're about 60,000. Warning, you think about 60,000 thoughts a day, and it's up to you to make sure that you don't use 59,999 of them on negative, cynical thinking. So next time, before you start to think something negative, just think about that. And this, your brain has over 100 billion cells, and each of these has little babies connected to at least 20,000 other cells. The variety of potential combinations of these is more multitudinous than the number of molecules existing in the entire universe. So, if you have the many different combinations of brain cells to choose from, why not try a new combo today? This book will help you do just that. You are born into this world innocent, guilt-free, sugar-free, caffeine-free. You are noble and pure. And then suddenly, whack, you're spanked really hard. This is unfair. You don't have you've done nothing wrong. You know this is for a fact. You know this for a fact. How? You haven't had to do anything. You haven't had time to do anything, period. You're only 3.5 seconds old, and you haven't had time to catch your breath, let alone time to convey a neighbor or furtively screen calls for your answering machine. You don't even have an answering machine yet. You don't even have people to avoid yet. You are that spanking new. Which brings us back to that spanking. Why? Why you? Why all the pain? Although you're only 3.5 seconds old, you have just been taught a big life lesson. Are you paying attention yet? Paying attention to life lesson number 1. Pain exists. Life can hurt, like a lot. Even when you're good, you can get whacked without an apology, without explanation. Well, at least not right away. It's not until later that you finally learn life's lesson number 2. The pain back in life's lesson number 1 was for your benefit, that you were being taught to breathe, invited to suck down a yummy oxygen nitrogen cocktail. That painful whack was necessary for your growth. Of course, had to be told this, you couldn't have been told at this time. You would not have understood with your naive little baby mind. So it goes for this much of pain in your life, often the need to evolve a bit more before you can understand a bit more. By now you know you have to live in a world of 1 million interpretations, 1,000,001 interpretations. By now you know you must resist staying stuck on merely one. Life's lesson. Life is more mystery than misery. Life's lesson number 3. Life is more mystery than misery. In time, insights take form and you relate to that impression. No pain, no gain. Only you feel more like no pain, no Rogaine, meaning growth can come from places that you thought were dead, barren, and disappointing. Life's lesson number 4. You always have a choice of emotional responses to life. Life's lesson is happiness. It's not about what happens to you, but how you choose to respond to what happens. And it's not called happiness, not happinesses. They could be called hopeness. You must always leave room for hope that all has happened for a good cause. Life may be compared to a piece of embroidery in which during the first half of your time you'll get a sight of the right side, and during the second half of the wrong side is not pretty, but in more instructives of the wrong, it shows which way threads have been worked together to make the pattern. In the front of the embroidery, it's beautiful. In the back, it's not pretty at all. If you feel this artsy guy, it's got it pretty right. If you feel this artsy guy got it pretty right, what he says reminds you of the tip of your gardener friend told you. Some plants are only meant to last a certain season or a certain time, said your gardener's friend. If you try to make them live longer, then you will be a bad gardener. Some plants only live for a certain length of time or a certain season. If you try to make them live longer, then you're a bad gardener. You were stuck by how the saying goes, or the same goes for peoples and jobs, and sometimes it seems that peoples and jobs and problems in general are brought into your life for certain reasons, to stay around for a certain time, to teach you certain things. Of this you are certain. Life's lesson number 5. Judge a tree by its fruits, and ditto for people. You can always tell who someone is in circumstances by they grow. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and neither does the bad banana. And now you know to avoid bad banana people. And you especially know the fruitless task of bad banana people for advice. For instance, don't ask careless people for career advice, or relationshipless people for relationship advice. Life's lesson number 6. Never go shopping for kiwis in a shoe store. Some people just don't have what you need. So why waste time banging on their doors, ringing their bells, or demanding their service? When you think about the kiwi-less people of your life, it reminded you yet of another wise thing your gardener friend told you, that this is time for about the dying purple plant, and once you had it in your home and now you're keeping a purple plant in direct sunlight, feeding it plenty of water, spoiling it is silly. However, rather than blossoming at your touch, it was perishing when you asked your gardener friend about it, and he chuckled and explained, this breed of plant thrives best in darkness and very little with water. You were surprised. You had thought that the plants craved off lots of water and sunlight. Now you know, some needs less to live on, some crave being left alone, and some goes for people. Which brings you to life's lesson number 7. You and those who have befriended you, worked with, slept with, each of you, just like plants, comes with your own unique feeding manual, and each of you have your own needs and speeds for growth. You must read each person's instructional manual carefully, and proceed with caution, which brings you to life lesson number 8. You and those you befriended, worked, and slept with, each of you has your own human nature, because you have a thing of nature just like a plant. And just like a plant, you two are governed by the same laws of nature. It's like this. We all come from some big bubbling pot of world promontory nature stew. Because of this, you are governed along with your pot mates, like plants, flowers, bananas, under the same laws of primordial nature. These laws include even popular spring law, summer law. You've tried your best to break through these laws, and you've even seen more successful breaking you. Spring law, fall law, winter law. For instance, all some point of the year and every year, it seems that life hits us with a winter phase, the coldness, darkness, with every growth and fertility, a phase that gets you thinking, oh no, that's it, my life is over, everything good is gone, the world sucks, only to find that, what do you know? Your winter phase ends and spring law arrives. Spring frees into the phase filled with renewal and growth and brightness. Then comes your summer phase, followed with your fall phase, followed by winter, spring, summer, etc. Life's lesson number 9. The only constant is change. The only thing constant is change, and things can change at any time, like this type space, or for this language, voila, bring the bop into the language you cannot even understand. It's worse fear not understanding, although you know that you know. Life's lessons number 9 is you never know, which reminds you of a good symbolic fable in a box. Dope on a rope. This criminal has committed a crime, because he and what criminals do is their job. Anyways, he sent for the king and his punishment. The king told him that he had a choice. He could be hung by the rope and take punishment behind a big, dark, scary steel door. The criminal quickly decided on the rope, and the noose was being slipped on him, and asked, out of curiosity, what's behind the door? The king laughed and said, you know, it's funny. I offer all you guys the same choice. All of you pick the rope. So said the criminal, but what's behind the door? Obviously, I won't tell anyone, he said. Pointing to the noose around his neck, the king paused and answered, freedom, but it seems most people are so afraid of the unknown that they immediately take the rope. All too often, fear stops you from going where you need to go. Life's lesson number 10, fear works like interfere, stops you from getting what you really want and need. All too often, you have to be at the end of your rope and be tempted to move, though you have fear, and go to the unfamiliar, the unknown, to change, which brings you to lesson number 11. If you keep doing what you're doing, and you keep doing what you've always been doing, you'll always keep getting what you've always been getting. You must courageously break through the habit of habits. Every year, you will be doomed to live out the same shit, different outfit, the style of clothes, and change if your styles and circumstances won't. Which reminds you of a story in a box. The elephant truly never forgets. The first trick of elephant trainer teaches the elephant not to escape. Then the elephant, still but a baby, as the trainer chains the infant's leg to a huge log. So when the elephant tries to escape, the log proves stronger and he gives up. Eventually, the elephant becomes so used to its captivity that even if it's grown huge and strong, with the trainer, it has to merely tie the chain around the elephant's leg to anything, even tiny little twigs, and the elephant won't even try to escape, just by having it around his leg. It has become a prisoner of its past. The elephant and its twig remind you that your childhood, though you believe childhood habits can be broken, you say, childhood, schmildhood. In fact, you often feel yours more than schmildhood, and your parents were often more like schmerits. But so what? That was then. This is now. Time has passed. You can let go, move on, and can't you? You can move on. Yes, you can. Step back from that twig. The trick is the first thing is to see it's only a little twig. Life's lesson number 12. In order to see the path to what you want, you must first see clearly what's holding you back. You must move those blinders you've been wearing since schmildhood and take a long look at both inside and around you. But if you feel that this is safer, healthier for your blinders to remain on, so much so, you confuse these blinders for Band-Aids. Band-Aids that can heal you, but you're wrong. These pseudo Band-Aids won't heal you. Ouch. Unfortunately, you're also afraid to remove the pseudo Band-Aids because you believe it will hurt a lot to remove them, which is true. But this pain won't last for long, and and it will be true that only path is healing. Number 13, life's lesson is you want to change your life, you must first be ready to see and feel some painful truths. Like, boy, I haven't been leading a life of an idiot, and it's only put a teeny tiny little twig, in fact, I put into an idiot. Boy, have I been leading a life of an idiot? That's only a teeny little twig. In fact, I put into idiot. It's not what wants to see you. And who wants to see you? Not you. Not to see yourself suffer. 100% Superman with 0% Clark Kent. You like to see yourself as 100% Superman and 0% Clark Kent. Who wants to see that? Not you. You should start seeing yourself 100% Superman, 0% Clark Kent. Snap the twigs. Your problems, you are both. But in your version of Superman and Clark Kent story, you walk around the Superman outfit. Meanwhile, your secret identity, you really fearfully wimpy Clark Kent. You foolishly try to increase your superpower status by improving upon your tights, making them flashier, ritzier, and occasionally finger your cape from other people's faces, flinging your cape into other people's faces. Meanwhile, in your weak Clark Kent secret self needs the bolstering. Otherwise, all you ever have is a wimpy fancy tights. But you can't fly, which reminds you of another story. Another story in the box is, which came first, the eagle or the egg? A little boy was wandering in the forest and came upon an eagle's nest. He plucked an egg and brought it back to his farm and, giggling to himself, slid it under a mama-to-be chicken. Soon after the chicken's eggs hatched, there was among the chicklets was a female eaglet. A little eaglet grew up with her chicken peers, learning all sorts of chicken habits, how to walk like a chicken, squawk like a chicken, eat like a chicken. The eagle did it all. However, the matter was passionately she put into her chicken existence. She always felt something was missing. She didn't know what, but she felt an inner emptiness. One day she looked up at the sky and saw a beautiful bird soaring freely among the clouds. She felt this pang all mixed with her weird sense of connection. She longed to be up there, flying too. Suddenly she had a flash of insight. She flapped her wings, and to her surprise she took off. And that's what she realized all along, that she was more than just a mere chickenhood. She was meant to fly, as well as to cash in on some other pretty nifty eagle perks. You relate often to feel you are an eagle, leading the life of a mere chicken, or working with a chicken, or sleeping with a chicken. Although you know eagles and fearless chickens live up to their name, chicken, or live by fear. And you know the eagle's first step to living the life of an eagle is to face all fears. And the eagle first. And an eagle's first and number one fear is, what will my chicken friends think if I start to live differently? Life's lesson number 14. You must declare your own Independence Day, then your Independence Year, then your Independence Life. Then the purpose of your life is to find purpose of your life, and the means that you must listen to your heart, listen to your belly, listen to your NPR. You must stop listening to your schmerits and schmrens. After all, it just took their crazy fruit trees. After all, just look at their crazy fruit trees. Stop listening to them. You realize being who you want to be and doing what you want to do. And self-respect, but that's not it all, folks. It's also more than a pot of primordial stew, membership duties, something even more. The pot-mate flowers known wisely to cash in on. The flowers instinctively go towards the light, and it doesn't spend time worrying about people mistake for the weed, taking too much sun. It's wisely and simply follows the primal flowers and instincts to attain the highest level of flowericity. Conversely, you are busy. You're a busy brain. You programmed to think, and you've been ignoring your heart's instincts, just like eagles in its chicken days. And it's been when your eagle finally follows your heart that her life finally began to soar. And it's when that eagle finally followed her heart that her life finally began to soar. Which brings you to number 15, life's lesson. You must unlearn. You get what you want, but you must open not only what you're learning, but unlearn. And you must sign up for the unlessons, where you've unlearned learning fear. You got to unlearn your guilt, unlearn your anger, jealousy, and insecurity. And that's just for starters. You must unlearn. In other words, before you write a to-do list of what you want, you have to write down an undo list of your to-do list. So you get a piece of paper and you write down the following 6 categories: money, love, sex, family, power, happiness. Next to these categories, write down your negative views, your fears, your guilt, or your insecurities, and you must unlearn and unfeel those out of your money, love, sex, family, power, and happiness. For instance, you ask yourself what negative views you have about money. Like, do you believe all rich people are superficial jerks? Hence, to become rich, you might too become a superficial jerk. Do you suffer from keeping down in the Johnese syndrome? Do you feel guilty from surpassing your friends and your parents or your wealth? So you must unlearn and unfeel these negative ideas and negative emotions, and find that when you trade in these negative beliefs and emotions for positive ones, you start getting more harmony and receiving money. You start seeing money everywhere. Even the word of harmony, which suddenly now looks to you like harmony. Okay, let's say to you comparably finding these negative emotions, but unsure to truly lose them once you found them. What then? You can lose these negative emotions, but how can you truly make sure you unlearn and unfeel all your negativity? Throw them in the trash. It's always to play a little game called Find the Meaning of Life's Past Meaningness. It's called a game called Find the Meaning of Life's Past Meannesses. The meaning of life's past meannesses. As part 1 says this game, to return to your scenes of a crime and play an active detective, track down the most bad, dark, depressing, grumble, childhood and even events, memories to lead to your original negative beliefs and emotions. In part 2, in this game, you return to the scene of the sublime. Now you must replay and act as a Hollywood screenwriter and finding the meaning that you were suffering. You must rewrite these events so that you seem something positive. Like a Hollywood screenwriter generously allows his fiction movie character to eventually clunk, oh yeah, see the fortune in their misfortunes by the story's ends. Life's lesson number 16. This is the secret to happiness in 3 words. Rationalize, rationalize, rationalize. You find it helpful to lie to yourself about your past and your pain and the rotten things if you happen to you. You feel it helpful to lie to yourself about your past pain and all the rotten things that's happened to you. And it's only fair, since everyone else is lying to you too anyway. Just kidding, sort of. Well, remember, this is a cynic's guide to spiritual happiness. You decide to see what you want to see, and you decide to see equals: your enemies, your teachers, your failures, your wisdoms, your mistakes, your luck discoveries, your conflicts, your growth opportunities, your undesired endings, your desirable beginnings, your grapes of wrath, your raisins of d'entrée, the painful feeling, your proud proof that you're dealing with the feelings head on. And these are freebies, bonus benefits of doing the above. To decide to see equals, you begin to be less judgmental about your rage, fear, pain, conflicts, and disappointments, not only for what happens to your past, but also what comes into your present and future. Which brings you to life's lesson number 17. You must celebrate non-judgment day, then non-judgment year, then a non-judgment life. You find that when you look at the lives of people through the eyes of a non-judgment, you attain a special X-ray vision that allows you to see past the bad and straight through to the good. Life's lesson 18. You must relax and enjoy the ride. You find it helps to remind yourself that you're not the only one in the bumpy, curvy, frantic ride called life. You're not the only one being singled out and faded and suffer to feel pain and to be disappointed. Everyone on this planet experiences major disappointments and pain. Every member of the Fortune 500 Club could also be eligible for members in the Misfortune 500 Club. The only difference between these clubs are there's very successful people who are members of the Fortune 500 Club know that when and if you fail on your face, you must use the leverage to bounce back higher. Life's lesson number 19. You must not live in a denial of disappointment and failure and conflict and darkness and evil. Where evil exists, they are all out there. Every silver lining always has cloud. This is the world of duality, of good and bad, yin and yang, decaffeinated and caffeinated. So you must always be prepared. It's like this. If you didn't accept the good humor trucks existed, then you wouldn't risk getting run over by one someday. Well, the same goes by bad humor. Trucks are dangerously screening and careening around there. You must also know that because of bad humor trucks exist, it does not mean that you must walk around constantly looking for fleets of them, or else you'll never be able to get anywhere, and you'll never be able to miss out on the now. Life's lesson 20. You must have great non-expectations. It's self-defeating to live in a tense future tense, second-guessing, third-guessing, 158th guessing life. You accept that you live in a world of uncertainty. This uncertainty ingredients makes you for the hot of an inimitable entree called the future. You accept the future, otherwise all would be permanently frozen in time. You realize uncertainty affects everyone has and everything on this planet, right down to the teeny-weeny electrons you've heard over the local quantum physics cannot predict the future of pet laboratory electrons when they are let loose in experiments. Sometimes these electrons live in life of a wave, sometimes a particle, one never knows, which can never be very unsettling. You realize that even a smart quantum physics can't predict the future of an electron, one of the teeniest particles found in the vast universe. Then you are no better off trying to lay down bets on a bigger or lumpier chunk of the universe called your life. So you resign your membership at the Frequent Flyer Club into the future, and you ban those rousing Frequent Flyer Club cheerleading chants like, I'm worried that I can't until someday I will. What if another scotch on the rocks? Life's lessons 21. You must remember, you are here now. Now. You are here right now, a human being and not a human was or a human will be. You are a human being. You're not human was, you're a human being. So you try to spend more time being present, less time being busy through the grounded things that have gotten hectic since you've been born. You know, after you have an answering machine, and now you have people to avoid on the answering machine. You also know that sometimes you can get outrageously busy, and you can pass by a troll standing in a street corner waving you $1 million at you, and you may not even notice you're so busy. Life's lesson 22. It doesn't matter how fast you get there if you're heading in the wrong direction. So you must slow down and see where you are going, buddy. Slow down and see where you're going. Though you think instead of calling it slowing down, it should be called slowing up. Because you take your time. When you take your time, you save time. Slowing up. A quickie explanation. It means that you should not live in the past with old habits, nor in the future with not so great expectations, but here in the moment, where the true you and your true power and the true answers to your problems can all be found in the present moment, which reminds you of yet another little story. Yet another little story in a box. I'm dancing as slowly as I can. Remember back at the high school dances, you took your gym class, teachers showed you complicated dance steps you were expected to learn within an hour's end. Remember you thinking, yeah, right, lady. But when she slowed the music down and played at much slower tempo, you could see that the steps were not so mind-boggling and feet-boggling. And sure enough, within 60 minutes, you were a regular Fred Astaire. You know the same approach works with complicated, fancy footwork it takes to switch out a bad relationship or a bad career. At first glance, it looks like there's so much effort. Then, as you relax, you could see what the Buddhists see. The 1,000-mile journey begins with one step. It's like how in the movies, folks like Clint or Sylvester or Sigourney know to remain calm even in their futures look bleak or doomed. Although these people are often called action heroes, you know they reveal power comes from the being. Still heroes, master of the art of staying still within, of being fully, deeply present. The Buddhists call this mindfulness. Though in many ways it's like mindfulness because it's all about entering into an empty mind state, void worries and fears and insecurities, a state that can be best achieved through regular meditation. Which brings you to life's lesson number 23. When you practice regular meditation, you find you're able to see so much more. Meditation works like one of those shake-up snow dome thingies. It helps you flaky stuff in your mind settle down so you can see more clearly when you truly need and want. And so once the day you just stop, become a human still life. Accept. Do nothing. Be nothing. Except breathe. You become one with your breath. You should breathe in and out, in and out, in and out, and you shouldn't ignore the shit. You found that once you've opened your eyes from the meditation, you will then see stuff like, what do you know? Your chain around your leg is attached in a teeny-weeny twig. Teeny-weeny twig. What do you know? You're really an eagle who longs to soar in the sky. All you have to do is flap. Life Lessons 24. When you become calm and serene on the inside, the world becomes more calm and serene on the outside. When you find that you meditate more, you make more better choices, find better people more, the better opportunities more, so much more that it feels almost like magic. Some people call this misfortune synchronicity. Some may call it luck. Some may call it intuition. Some call it Ralph, admittedly very few people though. Some may call it a tapping into the collective unconscious. But you're a rational person, so you prefer to call it what scientists call it, an invisible energies of chaos theory at work, which brings you to life's lesson 25. You must understand that there's a chaos in the world as well as order in all the chaos. In the same way that there's order in the seemingly chaotic subway station, there's order in all the chaos of life around you. The trick is try to see the order in the chaos and to accept that nothing in this universe is random. Both form and formlessness are connected within the same vibration field all around you. All the molecules are energy, and all the energy is motion in various speeds all around you at all times. Some molecules vibrate at slower speeds, some vibrating at very slow speeds, some presently perceived as the material of the world, and those molecules vibrating at hyperspeeds are the invisible energies of your thoughts. Yes, thoughts too have energy. Still, in other words, the only difference between you and this book are the configuration and speed of your molecules. Otherwise, you and this book are made of the same stuff, vibrating in the same interconnecting field. Okay, it's metaphor time. A metaphor in a box. Field goals. You are like a tiny fish surrounded by a field of water, but unable to see the water. What's going on is the fields around you sends the waves that affect you. Likewise, what you do and think and sends out waves into the fields around you. This includes the negative thoughts, which create distracting tidal waves that block you from seeing how to best get your goal. Huh? The explanation. You are like a tiny fish surrounded and connected to the energy fields that originate from the pot-bubbling primordial stew. You, little old you, are connected to all the infinite knowledge found in this original macro-primordial stew ocean. The explanation of the explanation. If you shift your awareness from ordinary, then you can be done through meditation as well as basic relaxation. You can sense this infinite, invisible, vibrating, all-knowing energy that's within you and all around you. You can tap into the stuff that some call intuition, some call synchronicity, some call Ralph, some call it sixth sense. The explanation of the explanation of the explanations is when you are calm within, you can better see the order of the chaos, almost as if you had been given a secret map of this chaos that shows the path that you need to take to get where you need to go. For example, part 1. This infinite, invisible vibration, all-knowing energy is what dogs tap into when they sense an earthquake coming. It's what moms tap into when they sense that their distant baby is in danger. For example, part 2. And what you tap into when you think about the person and what they call you moments later. Example part 3. Example part 4. To the 1 billion of what you tap into when you meet a very type of person that you have your head of what you've been needing to meet in business or in love, etc. Once and for all, number 1, all is one, and one is all. You know all of this sounds weird, freaky, psychedelic, man. You know it explains a lot of weird, freaky, psychedelic, man, things that happen to you, man. Which brings you to 26. You must show more respect for the invisible world, because often what you don't see is what you get. Just look at the odorless glass. when what you see could look at the odorless gas. Just look at odorless gas. Well, what if you could look at odorless gas? It is invisible, yet is the power to change your life. For example, it'll kill you. And look at the television. It's merely a box with wires, yet when the visible energies pass through it, it too has power to change your life. For example, it'll kill your taste level. And look at harmonic resonance, from which you can look at. In two guitars, when E strings are plucked at once, it resonates the other, and you believe harmonic resonance works with people too. When you speak openly from the heart, and the hearts otherwise seem to be open, and because you are helping others around you vibrate with the same higher harmonic level, you heard of this cause as companion energy, and you believe in the same way invisible germs. And the visible germs of coal can be contagious, that the invisible oxygen dynamics of the yang can be contagious. The invisible energies of thoughts are contagious. They're resonant. Your quantum physics even documented how the brain has electrical energies that give off various vibrations depending on the thoughts and mood. Because like energy attracts like energy, it makes sense that positive might indeed attract positive results, even positive luck coincidences. And believe this may also explain the rich get richer, misery loves company, and why whether or not you got a paramour is more easier to get a paramour. And this is also fear attracts fear. Like your fear of not being able to fall asleep always seems to attract problems of you not being able to fall asleep. Ditto for your fear of falling in love. Ditto for your fear of being successful. Which brings you to life's lesson number 27. Worry about doubt can actually be prayers and visualization. Worry and doubt can actually be prayers and visualization and self-fulfilling programming for things you do not want. Self-fulfilling programming. The world is your minor. The world is your mirror. Everything you created twice. You have the running and programming of your mind eventually manifests into the outer world. So if you want to change your outer world, you must change your internal mental programming. When you try to change your external world first, it's like trying to change a picture on a TV screen. By rubbing that picture on cloth, you can rub, but it's futile, baby. However, when you change your mental programming, you are thinking you are and what you are going to and what you're thinking you deserve, and you find the world around you changes simultaneously, which brings you to life's lesson 28. Chaos theory affects you daily. From the turbulence of today's weather to the complicated beatings of your heart, all the sorts of assorted areas in your life, the theory states in their order of pattern, from which you might think there is only a randomness and unpredictability. One of the most talked about principles of chaos theory, the butterfly effect, goes so far as to say that even the tiniest action can set off a chain or a larger reaction, like the mere fluttering of a butterfly's wings in New York City can transform storm systems in the Tibet next month. And the tiniest action can also create reactions within your brain, heart, and body. Local neurologist has even documented how the action of a mere twitch of a smile can set off reaction of a stream of happy endorphins throughout your body. It seems a smile forces certain facial muscles to contract, and the decreasing of flow of blood as nearby vessels, the blood that cools the blood and lowers the temperature of the brainstem and produces more of the neurotransmitters called serotonin, which then puts you into a perkier mood. Plus, your local neurologist has documented that the person who is happier is better able to retrieve happy thoughts, ideals from the brain, because these information bits are simmering in similarly temperatures. Happy thoughts are temperatures. Life's lesson number 29. There's great power in I think, therefore I have. For all four reasons, psychological, biological, logical, and other fuzzy universal spirit, Ralph Zone, sixth sense, hunch, you recognize that positive thinking is a powerful force in achieving your goals. So you decide to follow the positive thought diet program. You start day by day reminding yourself how to type a person, how to attract the thing, quality, love you want. At the end of your day, you're looking for the positive things that brought you towards this in similar way. You're waiting for a long, long movie line. You're looking for how far you've come rather than the hopelessly long line ahead. And speaking and waiting in time, you use your waiting for movies, elevator, buses, calls, waiting to repeat positive thinking mantras. You make a list of all the reasons why you're worthy to get this thing, quality love that you want, and fully convince yourself of it. You clip photos from magazines of your goal and you keep them nearby in emotional boosts. You remind yourself of all the times that you've gotten the thing that quality love you want, which means you do it again and yet again. Then you ditto for others of having achieved your goals. That transform any negative jealousy, positive inspiration, and proof that you want can be gotten. You exercise to eat healthy foods and to keep your mental attitude up and perky. You recognize that your mind and body are one, except during PMS, when the mind and body are about 2.5. You minded the body of Ralph Waldo Emerson said to the mind, a man becomes what he thinks about most of the time. In other words, you can fall prey to the, I think, therefore I am depressed. Whether or not you think, therefore you are enthusiastic. You think, therefore you are unstoppable. Wherever you're feeling pissed off or pissed on, you grab your positive thoughts and you use your emotional jack to get your spirit off running smoothly. Jumpstart positive endorphins to reading something funny, or seeing a funny movie, or you write 10 funny interpretations of something bad in your life, or you retain your mind not to focus on this bad thing at all, but rather the 9 great things happening. Or if you only have one great thing happening, you can refocus on knowing if all the tiny positive things, a little teeny weeny ember positivity, the fan to ember will grow. And you know the positive thought diet program will shape up your life as followed, as long as it's followed regularly. Life's lesson number 38. You cannot expect to see results from a positive thought diet program unless you follow it consistently and over time. You recognize that work plus time plus faith equals results. You must not give up your faith. Believing is seeing, which reminds you of an old joke in a box. H2, uh-oh. A man was drowning in the ocean. Hopefully, maybe God might have saved him soon. Soon a small boat rowed up and offered to help him. He was still testing to see if God would save him. Sent the boat away. Next big yacht came up, ordered to help him. By the time he sent the yacht away, again testing to see if God would save him. Next a helicopter flew by and offered to throw down a ladder, but the man sent the helicopter away, still holding out for God to save him. Soon after, he drowned. And when the man got up to heaven, he asked God, "Why didn't you save me?" God explained, "Who do you think sent the boat, yacht, and the helicopter?" You know, you're being sent boats, yachts, and helicopters all the time. You have to jump up on board. Actually, it's also the divine principle behind the ordinary story of a girl ultimately marrying the boy next door. How, why, when she finally noticed he's right next door. In other words, if you want to find a loving, sexy, communicative soulmate, you have first to believe in the existence of such a creature, so you can recognize this creature when it walks by, and not to give up on your search. And in some more words, if you're believing and building exists, if you believe and building exists, you even get lost on your way finding it. You keep driving because you know it exists, and you know what you're looking for. Which brings you to life's lesson number 31. Your faith determines your destiny, so you must make sure your faith remains stronger than your mood. You must resist the temptation of giving up when your hoped-for goal doesn't seem to be showing up, which reminds you of a quote from the unpredictable Zen philosopher Bazooka Joe. Your success is limited only by your desire. You realize Joe is right and pretty deep for the bubblegum guy. In fact, Bazooka Joe has given you another juicy piece of philosophy you often find yourself chewing on. Life's lesson number 32. Never compromise your dreams, Bazooka Joe has said. Joe's quote reminds us that another famous quote, "The greatest enemy of the great is the good." And what is the good? Another way of saying the choice you accept because you are afraid of pursuing. You have given up on pursuing a greater choice. Which reminds you of an old Groucho Marx joke. An old Groucho Marx joke in a box. Groucho Marx was talking to a friend about marrying an unattractive mate because a beautiful one could leave you. His friend reminds him, "An ugly one could leave you too." Groucho agrees, but explains, "Yeah, but if they do, who cares?" You hear that joke and you know, you don't want to be Groucho Marxist when it comes to compromise. You want to resist settling for second best or third best or 127th best when your number one choice seems scary or slow in coming. You see, if you're cowardly settling for the fifth, life goes on and the end is lovers, friends, jobs, etc., then you won't live a 10 life, even to gather 1,000,000 fives. An example, 1,000,000 5-level lovers, because you still, by creating a medium of a 5 level, not the 10 life you want. You gotta go for the 10 life you want, not settle for less, not the satisfying life you want. Don't live satisfied. Go for the real life. The realize that why sometimes after you get a 5, sometimes you want to do it. You do not want the 5 something. Because of this wrong something, select as fearful, insecure, and sequest something inside of you. The pesky 5 esky phantom, send your 5 don't pass, walks you back to those convictions. Life can only come here in a 5-osity flavor. You know, you must let go of those 5s. Which brings you to life's lesson number 33. When you let go of unnecessary attachments, you pick up speeds and heading towards your true goals. For reasons, you always better a short bad relationship than a long bad relationship, or a short unsatisfying career versus a long unsatisfying career. The sooner the eagles flies the coop, the sooner the high-flying eagle's living begins, though you also know it's scary to let go. What if you fall? What if you don't have eagle wings after all and cannot fly? Which brings you that you must live your life using the same philosophy as a mountain climber uses to climb a mountain. Never look down. Keep looking forward and upward. Forward and upward. Life's lesson 34. Keep looking forward and upward. You've read most people are not risk adverse but loss adverse. They spend too much time looking at the dangers that can happen if they let go. Not you. You consciously decide to stay focused on what you gain and letting go of an unsatisfying job or a messed up relationship. You consciously decide to stay focused on what you have to gain by letting go of that unsatisfying job or messed up relationship. But you also know that it's hard to let go. It takes great emotional strength and endurance to climb up another level. You also know the more you climb upward, the stronger you will get, because you will be building up the emotional muscles over time. Which brings you to life's lesson number 35. Letting go and climbing up to higher levels means building new emotional muscles. And like all muscles growth, it feels pain before you can see growth. You felt first the pain first in hand and then the first at heart. And then the first time you broke up with an unsatisfying paramour is the hope of finding high satisfying paramour, which is not until you make that later realization that this pain did lead to your emotional growth. Separate with your past so you can have the pain, and then the pain will lead to the emotional growth for the new bright future. Pain equals lucky. So you remind yourself the next time that you feel emotional pain that you're lucky. You're lucky if you have pain. You're getting stronger. Things are improving. Although you might not see it right away, it's like that your home was being painted and looked almost worse. Total chaos. However, underneath the chaos was renovating motion. And the motion, because you're aware of the painting action, leads to more of a beautiful home. You could relax, breathe easily, accept the chaos around you. Same goes with your life. Its messy areas are simply under construction. Its messy areas are simply under construction, which brings you to life's lesson 36. Everything has its process. You must respect this process. But just like with painting process, your improvement process can't be rushed. Which reminds you of saying something very deep and wise. Your painter told you he's headed over for a door midday for pizza. You can't go over the wet coat, he said. You gotta wait for it to dry, otherwise you keep painting the paint. You keep painting and you'll get nowhere, you know? Process. You got to wait and smooth out the process. Whatever the process is, respect the process. Which leads you to 37. Often doing less gets you more. Truly less is more. More is less. Getting what you want not only means hard work and struggle. Often when you relax and stop resisting what can't resist you, the Taoists advise that be careful not to turn over a fish too many times or it shall fall apart. However, the Taoists also believe in duality, meaning the opposite of this is also true. Which brings you to life's lesson number 38. You must create your own good luck. You must be proactive and even pre-active. You must know what time it is to stop sitting around all relaxed, waiting for those things just to happen to you. Instead, stand up. Take a life by a shirt collar and afraid by a wrinkle in shirt collar, and not be afraid to wrinkle the shirt collar, and alone decide your own level of love, money, and happiness to attract to yourself. Be proactive and pre-active. Or Roseanne once said, the thing women have got to learn is nobody gives you power. You just have to take it. Roseanne is right. Whether or not you're a man or a woman, you are your own waiter of this cafe called life. And you decide to serve yourself the cheeseburgers of existence or the caviar and champagne treatment. And although this aforementioned champagne is physical champagne, is metaphysical champagne, you also know what you need. And you know when it comes to indulging in that real good materialistic champagne stuff. Which brings you to life's lesson number 39. Money will never bring you true happiness. However, happiness will bring you true money. Expensive champagne will never be the panacea extensive emotional pain. However, if you feel happy doing what you're doing, then if you're happy doing what you're doing and you love what you're doing, then the money will surely come. And you also know that when it comes to money, money does not come as it will. That will life lesson 4. You need a balance, baby. You've called this weekend and not the weekend. It's called the weekend and not the weekend. It's not the he who dies with the most toys wins. It's he who has the most time to play with his toys and the most fun playing with them who wins. In other words, all works and no play means the life goes on as an ego and no spirit. True success is all about making lots of moolah, and you can get a success from expensive toys for your ego, nor it's about getting yourself a cute, sexy person for your ego. True success is not about satisfying your spirit with spirit things. True success is about satisfying your spirit with spirit things. For instance, your ego looks a cute, sexy person and says, yum, yum, I want that person. But your spirit is smarter. It looks at loving, joyous couples and thinks, I want that joy and happiness, that love. Your spirit wisely knows it's not a male superficial qualities that ultimately make you happy, but a dynamic this mate. But dynamic this mate you have together, and your blissful feelings a mate can give you in your true and eagle heart, which reminds you of lessons you've learned reading this Little Prince. It's only the one with the heart that one can see rightly, that the most important and visible to the eye, and it's with this mind and the heart that you decide to see wise spirits yours do all your life shopping. Do all your shopping through your heart. And with this in mind in your heart, you also decide next time the paramour is not gonzo, and you're no gonzo, because you know the paramour love is merely an empty container, and what you want is an empty container. Do you want an empty container? A container is not the sustainer. You must not confuse the bottle for the juice. The bottle might be satisfying your ego, but only the juice can feed your heart. Life's lesson number 41. Prozac Schmozac. Love is the drug. Love is what you're always looking for, and all the things that you're looking for, it's love. Even your yearning for the sex and really a dyslexic search for love. Even your yearning for sex is really a dyslexic search for love. Love is what you're looking for. You know it, and ad agencies know it. Love is the number one marketing strategy used to promise in ad campaigns of products from the core, from cars to toothpaste to floor wax. And all this love mania reminds you of Zen saying, basically, the archer aims at himself. If you're not a happy person inside, and then nothing outside will ever make you happy and able to feel love. This makes sense because you know already from lessons 27 how the world is your mirror, and thereby makes sense that you can increase your happy and loving you feel of yourself on your inside, and the more happiness and love you feel will attract the world around you to you. Thereby makes sense that if you can increase how happy and loving you feel about yourself on the inside, the more happiness and love you will see and attract from the world around you to you. Soon the simplest thing around you can bring the happiness of loving feelings. The simplest thing can can bring loving feelings. Like the way to a beam of light shines on flashy sports cars instead of sports car itself, or the sight of a perfect flower or an imperfect flower. Life's lesson number 42. Just like 3 sexual attractions, there's love attraction. When you feel the love energy inside you, other people feel coming off of you. You find themselves wildly and oddly and attracted to you. When you've witnessed this yourself, and whenever you're in love or seem to attract more love to you, well as the positive stuff, yes, love is boomerang, baby. When you give it away, you get it back. Love energy attracts love energy, and the reason you love to love, you've learned back in life's lesson 26, all about harmonic resonance, working with energies as those around you will steer fierce in heart and work attaining to maintain the unconditional self-love, yourself and your life within your fierce heart. And when you do, you'll see how life just loves the butt kiss out of the right back and big time, which brings you to know that life's lesson 42 is love and energy. Have love everywhere you go, put it out, and you'll get it back. Brings you to life's lesson number 43. There's a difference between knowing versus doing. The difference between knowing and doing. You know, all of what this book is true, showed to be followed. Knowledge, ideas is not enough. You must put into effort and discipline of the action. You must truly live these life lessons daily. You must seize the day. You must seize the night. You must seize your life. And seize the 3 o'clock coffee break. You get the idea. Seize it all. What you seize is what you get, which all means life's lesson number 44 is live now. Procrastinate later. Live now. Live now, live now, live now. What are you waiting for? Start following this book now. And we mean now, damn it. Close this damn book already. Scram. Amscracy. How to be happy, damn it. 44 life lessons to save you years of time, effort, and humiliation.